Rob Pinkerton with Adobe Systems. And we are here today at our second annual Adobe Government Assembly. And like last year, we've assembled a pretty large collection of folks from around government, from around companies that do business with government, or people who just have a general interest in the openness of government, to discuss some of the different challenges and opportunities that come about with the implementation of new technologies to drive open government and to really engage America. Everything from policy to strategy to operations to technical choices.
It's an exciting time because there's a lot of change, frankly, that's happening all around the country as well as all around the world. And having been in computing now for approximately 25 years, I can honestly say that the amount of change and the pace of change in the computing industry has been faster in the last couple of years than in the 25 years prior to that. And that's why it's an exciting time, because clearly for a lot of you here in government, technology is just a means to an end, and how we use technology effectively to meet the needs of the citizens all around the world, I think, represents an opportunity that we haven't had in the past.
Look, the executive branch will continue to be innovators in these areas, transparency, social media, and the like, but it's not all smooth sailing. I don't know if you noticed, but we're going to have a divided government. The reality is, in a divided government, everything changes. All of a sudden, you get oversight where you haven't had oversight. All of a sudden, these web portals and some of the things that are kind of routine get scrutinized, they get looked at. Things start changing very, very quickly. But I would just caution everybody as we look ahead that with a divided government now and the lines being drawn, this is fair game for the opposition to come at the administration and look at overutilization, self-promotion, as well as the budgetary constraints that I think this next Congress is going to feel.
Okay.
You know, the administration's policy is clear. It's irreversible. It's absolutely irreversible from a policy perspective, and it's irreversible from a technology perspective. You know, one of my little anecdotes I like to reflect on about, you know, how quickly we need to change and just adapt to change and just get over with it and do it goes back to last summer. There's a big debate in the Department of Defense over social media. Should it be banned? Should we block, you know, this and, you know, not allow that? About a week into all that, when that was just really starting to heat up, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff tweeted, "The policy was set. The discussion was over."
Well, I think the theme here is that there's an inevitability. So there's not going to be anything we're going to do to turn back to, you know, to 5 years ago even. But I think the congressman is exactly right. It will be done in fits and starts. You know, people ask, you know, kind of what you're working on or whatever, and I'm like, you know, if it was easy, it would have been done already. A lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is not the easy work. It's really kind of going back and crossing some T's and dotting some I's. It's really taking a look at, you know, how do we measure effectively so that we could show show real outcomes that make sense. Fortunately for me, you know, at a time of when social media was coming up, I actually had, you know, teenagers coming up too, and they really taught me a lot about relinquishing control that you actually really don't have. Because you really don't have that level of control. We have new people that are coming into government, really smart people have great ideas. We have old people like me who are in government who actually are really interested in the new and smart ideas. So I think the future is really bright.
You know what I mean? Look, the benefits for Homeland Security are clear. Homeland Security is a common and shared responsibility. And so engagement is critical, and the tools provide us you know, the way in which to do this. I mean, I think the key is really just, as government, as agencies, is just to keep moving, forward, and we'll address the challenges as we go.
So we just concluded this, the second annual Adobe Government Assembly. We had David Plouffe as the speaker, the keynote speaker, who talked about really the role of technology and the significance and centrality to creating a dialogue as you engage America. Really interesting presentation as it focused very deeply on the need to get direct contact with your audience, your constituency, and the need to think about the digital world as core to everything that you do. And really is the ongoing prominence of things like video and different types of forms of communication and being in a direct dialogue. So it was interesting. There was a lot of good questions and comments afterwards. And overall, I think it's been another good event. A lot of breakout sessions today, a big crowd, several hundred people, maybe 400 or 500 people it looks like, and we're happy to host it again and grateful for everyone who showed up.